Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Stygian and I'm a brand new content creator for Anthem and the Division 2. Today this video will be centered around my overall thoughts and impressions that I had hands-on with the Anthem beta. So, my overall thoughts and impressions about the beta. I really enjoyed the game, honestly. I clocked in about roughly around 20 hours in the Anthem beta, and I enjoyed what little content we had to explore with, being the stronghold. I think it was about 3 missions and some of the free play or free roam areas. Basically, I really enjoyed the strongholds, the whole kind of levels mechanic, you can say. I mean, granted, all we were able to really do was grab echoes and defeat enemies, and then we were able to go to a boss room, basically. And I enjoyed the boss fight. That alien that they have in it, the scorpions, are pretty interesting. They're almost like hive-like. They're harder to defeat in swarms, which is pretty cool. I can see a lot of scenarios where you could get overwhelmed. But I really enjoyed the stronghold. I think it's unique to Anthem in terms of having an in-game boss to fight at the end of that. Now, one of my main concerns is Anthem's in-game, you could say. Granted, the in-game it seems to be a little lackluster at the beginning of the game, but honestly, I don't think it's really going to be that big of a worry, simply because of the amount of difficulties that there are at the end game, with that being Grandmaster 1, Grandmaster 2 difficulty, as well as Grandmaster 3. And each difficulty increases the enemy's damage and health numbers, obviously, but it also increases your chance of getting higher loot, which is a great thing, easily. We get to get better loot, get to grind more. But my only worry with that is the fact that we have to grind the same strongholds over and over and over and over. Now, I don't have an issue with this because this game, to me, has a lot of similarities to the Diablo franchise. I don't know if there are any big Diablo fans out there. I'm sure there are. But Diablo is essentially, you're running the same content over and over and over again. Now, they have some randomly generated, areas that you can go into. Things are randomly generated. But in terms of running the same content over and over to get that better gear drop, it creates a in-game loop. Whereas you're not so focused on the in-game content, like new content that's being released to you. You're more so focused on the gear drops that you get from doing that content. And I think with Anthem, it is really trying to reach that niche of people where they're just going to keep grinding the same thing over and over because they know that there's loot waiting at the end of it, and a whole lot of loot. The strongholds did a very good job in creating a lot of loot to be gained. Now, I do have problems with not knowing what I'm getting until the end of the mission. I do hope they actually change that. I hope it does become better, whereas you get a drop, you're able to see what that drop is. I don't have a problem with when you start up a mission, you're kind of locked to your abilities, you're locked to the gear that you have, that you started the mission with. I have no issue with that. I experienced that in Destiny, which is totally fine. It kind of creates this loop where you need to know what your team members are running so you can combo effectively with them, which is a pretty unique idea in my opinion, honestly. So another thing about the end game really is that I'm so used to raids. Coming from Destiny, playing World of Warcraft, I'm very used to in-game raids. Like you're constantly grinding for that in-game content, that pinnacle activity where you're gonna spend a lot of hours in and grind really hard to be sure you're able to complete it when it comes out. Now, Anthem, the developers at BioWare, they really haven't told us a lot in terms of the way the raid, or if there are even raids, if it's going to work like that, but they have given us a hint at things called cataclysms. and those are basically their aspirational content, the way that they word it. Aspirational meaning, I guess you could say raid-like activities, but they really haven't given us too much information to where we even really know what a cataclysm is. All it really is it seems to be the pinnacle in-game activity in Anthem. So that'll be pretty exciting to see. I mean, we still don't have a lot of information on it, and I can't wait to hear about more information on it, as if that's going to be the in-game content, you know, we need to know more about it and what there is to offer at that level of gameplay. So another thing I want to talk about is some of the javelins that I played. I got to play the Colossus, the Storm, and the Ranger. I wasn't too big of a fan of the Interceptor, honestly. I don't know why. Something about being like a hulking tank or a mage with lightning abilities has always caught my attention, and that's made the game super fun for me. When I played the Colossus, I unfortunately didn't have good RNG, and I wasn't able to get the flamethrower component, so I couldn't run the overpowered the arc shock cannon and then the flamethrower, where you could just instantly combo and do tons of damage to everything. But when I was playing the Storm, I did like the hovering abilities of the Storm, how they made that class specifically almost like a glass cannon. You know, your shield is a little bit more powerful while you're hovering, and it lasts longer, which is pretty awesome. But on the Storm, I was running the one of the frost abilities, as well as the lightning storm effect for AoE damage, and you could instantly combo. And another thing I found that was pretty overpowered in the beta was frost abilities. The fact that you're able to stun enemies and keep them locked in place for a long amount of time, and you can spread that frozen effect to other enemies, is a very good ad control. So if there's ever hordes of enemies running at you, you could just stun them all up, freeze them, send that effect to other enemy AIs in the area. Pretty overpowered in my perspective, and I think that BioWare should probably look into nerfing that, because it does seem that if some ability types are too overpowered, that other abilities will just get overlooked and won't even be used or even be viable in in-game builds. Another thing I really liked about Anthem was its customization options. The fact that we're able to specifically customize every single part of our javelin, whether that be our weapons, our components, and even the way we look, our color schemes. We can have vinyls. We can almost create like a race car of some, like our dream javelin, or like a dream race car, which is pretty unique in my opinion. Another big thing that really hit home for me with Anthem was the combinations you could pull off with your group members. I thought it was very unique that there are primers and detonators in the game, so certain abilities prime enemies and other abilities can detonate enemies, creating a combo effect that does insane amounts of damage, which is pretty unique when you're rocking, you know, a Colossus, a Ranger, a Storm, and possibly an Interceptor, 2 Storms, 2 Colossus. You know, it seems like this game has a lot of variety in builds. Granted, from the gameplay I've seen with the legendary masterworks for the end game and the way the inscriptions work, where, you know, you're basically getting randomly rolled stats on this high-end gear that could benefit you or could not benefit you, also adds a gameplay loop to the end for grinding. You're always constantly wanting to grind, trying to get those perfect rolls so they perfectly match a specific build you have for one javelin. And then, you know, you can start working towards other builds on different javelins or the same javelin if you decide to go a different route. Another thing that really caught my eye with Anthem was the amount of immersion in this game. When I first logged in, I instantly, within the hour, I instantly noticed the amount of immersion that this game can bring to you. It's very immersive gameplay. It's not something you're just gonna kind of sit back and chill, like relax to almost. This is more of something that you're gonna like be super super involved in. You're going to be involved in all the abilities, involved in the way you're flying, involved the way your character looks. So kudos to BioWare for making the game very immersive. As with a brand new IP, they definitely need something like this to be able to catch an audience's eye, to not make it so boring, you could say. Now granted, Anthem is PvE only, but I necessarily don't think PvP would be good for this game. I think it'd be too much to balance. It'd just be too much to handle with multiplayer, player versus player being added, in my opinion personally. But that's really honestly my overall impressions for the Anthem beta that I had. The Anthem Early Access releases tomorrow at 9 a.m. my time, and I will be live streaming it on my Twitch. The link will be in the description below. But honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on the entirety of this game. I want to see what the game has to offer for its in-game content. I want the game to prosper. I know BioWare has already released a live service plan, and the first one being called Echoes of Reality. Looking forward to seeing that, as well as the Cataclysm as well. Those are my overall thoughts and impressions on the Anthem beta. I would like to get some of y'all's thoughts and opinions on future content y'all would like to see on this channel, as well as y'all's thoughts and opinions on some of the ideas that I brought up while I was speaking about Anthem. Starting tomorrow, I will be live streaming the Anthem Early Access release at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on my Twitch channel. That link will be provided in the description below. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for tuning in for today's video. In the next few days, I will be uploading a new video on this channel, probably be in regards to Anthem and some of its early access, you know, what I can get my hands on with. We will have the full game available to us, so definitely looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, thank you again for coming out, and y'all have yourselves a good day. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of the gameplay.
Door's still closed and there's nodes everywhere.
Give it a minute, it should work itself out. Should. Energy readings are stabilizing, albeit slowly. Just stay in the center, any interference will cause the energy to spike again.